Podcast City Network.
Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show. A shot of entertainment to the head. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
Welcome, everyone, to the Everett Lee Show podcast. I am Everett Lee. Quick shout out to everyone who follows me on Twitter. You can follow me at the Everett Lower Score Lee, Facebook.com/the Everett Lee. Click that thumbs up. And, of course, Podcast City Network, the official host of the Everett Lee Show podcast. Well, I've had an interesting day, ladies and gentlemen. Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through. Basically, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. They're right now here in Daytona Beach, Florida, and Podcast City Network Studios, where I'm at right now. I got a possibly by Monday a Category 3 hurricane coming. And I'm not talking about the wrestler. I'm talking about this bad hurricane. And I have it right here. I want to share with everyone this projectile of this hurricane. What to expect right there. That's what I got to deal with right there for this week, for this Labor Day weekend. It's not sunny and happy and good times and just go to the beach, have a good time, and spend time with my friends and family. No, I got to bore down for a freaking hurricane. So I'm pretty much screwed right there. But you can see the projectile right there. By Monday, it should be wet, windy, and I should be batting down. I'll be like Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. So if you see some crazy guy out on the streets of Daytona Beach waving an American flag, that's me. That's Everett Lee right there. So I just want to give everyone an update on what I'm going through right now at this moment on this podcast. And I want to thank people tuning in right now to the Everett Lee Show right here on the Everett Lee, right here on twitch.tv/the Everett Lee. And as always, each and every week I bring a great and interesting and fantastic guest to the program each week. You've seen the post, all right, this week and last week with my guest right now. He is on the phone. I have on the line right now none other than Darkness Worldwide, David Barnabas Spector. How you doing there, David Barnabas Spector?
I am doing well, Everett Lee. I am happy to know that someone from the press is willing to spread the word of Darkness Worldwide. I kind of wish it was under a little better circumstance, my friend. I am sorry to hear about the situation in Florida. You know, Darkness Worldwide is a global entertainment brand. We have representatives all across the United States and all around the world. Obviously, Florida is definitely included there, so we certainly have business ventures within Florida. And certainly for you, for your family, and anyone else listening in that Daytona Beach, Florida area, certainly wish you the best of luck. Hopefully things will not be as extreme as they are being forecasted to be at the present time. But nonetheless, Everett Lee, if you can perhaps get my name correct, we can proceed with this particular interview, my friend. Okay.
I am sorry about the misstep there. I just got a lot on my mind, though, but I'm going to turn that attention towards you right now, Mr. David Barnabas Spector. I've seen a lot on Future Great Wrestling, Kentucky's Own Wrestling. I've seen a lot with Darkness Worldwide. I've saw the promos. I've watched them. I've seen everything that's going on, but I just want to make sure, and I just want people to be clear. I'm giving you a platform tonight here on who you are. Who is David Barnabas Spector?
So simply put, Everett Lee, David Barnabas Spector is an agent and a producer, the master and commander of Darkness Worldwide. You see, Darkness Worldwide is a global entertainment brand specializing in music, entertainment, and now, especially here within the year of 2019, we have expanded into the world of professional wrestling. And you see, Darkness Worldwide is a uniquely different concept because we search out absolutely unique talents that more often than not have been shuffled aside, talents that have been cast away, that have been the outsiders of the entertainment world, individuals that have had to go a different path. We search through the dark alleys, the underbelly, the darker side of the world, if you will, to find the absolute best of the best, to find those unique individuals that we can mold and shape into the image that we see them as, to make them the superstars, the megastars of tomorrow. In our quest to dominate the world of professional wrestling, it's quite funny and ironic, Everett Lee, that all of a sudden everyone is talking about Darkness Worldwide. Everyone is talking about yours truly, David Barnabas Spector, as if I just mysteriously came from nowhere, that, I'm some type of an overnight sensation, when the reality is that for decades I have been grinding away, negotiating, putting in the time, making sure that my talents receive proper care and proper opportunity behind the scenes. Only now do I finally step from behind the curtain to show you and the entire world exactly what I'm capable of and exactly what type of a force Darkness Worldwide will truly be in pro wrestling and throughout the entire entertainment industry.
Wow, that is a lot to digest right there. That is a lot right there. And with you taking over and incorporating and recruiting people into Darkness Worldwide, especially with Future Great Wrestling, I've noticed a lot going on with Darkness Worldwide and Future Great Wrestling. I want to throw out a couple names right there. William Wolf and Ripper Blackheart. What is the situation right there?
So William Wolf, Little Willie Wolf. You see, William Wolf is an individual that realistically we see potential in. We see something within him. We see something that can be harnessed, that can be trained, that we can mature, that we can advance, that we can actually capitalize on. Mr. Wolf, unfortunately, at this point in time, is just simply too stupid to acknowledge that fact and decides to make idiotic, moronic decisions involving interjecting himself into matters which have nothing to do with him, interjecting himself into matters involving one of my top talents, Amos. You see, William Wolf, in his time to run amok, if you will, throughout FGW, Future Great Wrestling, is rapidly coming to an end. This past Friday, at Friday Night Fury at 190 North Brookwood Avenue in Hamilton, Ohio, my client, Amos, had FGW's heavyweight title #1 contender, Mitch Magnus, right where he wanted him. And out to play the hero of the day was none other than Little William Wolf once again. This Friday, once again, in Hamilton, Ohio, William Wolf will pay a dear, dear price for his involvement and interference in Darkness Worldwide business. Because ultimately, one of our main goals, not our only goal, but our main goal is to take possession one way or another of the FGW heavyweight title. Because with that title comes power. And power is exactly what Darkness Worldwide craves. Now, in regards to Ripper Blackheart, you see, that is a much longer story. You see, Ripper Blackheart, I have been aware of and known for some time now. For those that are familiar with Ohio independent wrestling, they know Ripper Blackheart as a managerial stable in the area for quite some time. And you see, throughout my development into the world of pro wrestling, where I had first started to infiltrate the world, the industry of pro wrestling as a photographer, to do my research, to scout for talent, I came across Ripper Blackheart a number of years ago at War Wrestling out of Lima, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And I respected Ripper Blackheart for what he brought to the table, for his attitude, for his technique, if you will. And I approached him, inquiring curiously, what would it take to step across that threshold, to become a managerial genius much like yourself? And you know what Ripper's response was?
What's that?
Keep taking the pictures, kid. Keep taking the pictures, kid, he says to me.
Wow.
So, that stayed with me. That stayed with me, Everett. That stayed with me now for several years. And as I have developed my long-standing employment with Darkness Worldwide, that particular instance has been filed away in my mind, knowing full well that there would be a day that there would be an inevitable confrontation between myself and Ripper Blackheart. And you see, with Ripper Blackheart and his former protege, Bad Attitude Brian Beach, with their long-standing rivalry with my new client, Amos, I saw that as a prime opportunity to finally, let's say, extract a bit of revenge upon Ripper Blackheart, to show him that as he likes to refer to me as, Photo Hut Dave, is a bit more intelligent, articulate, and dangerous than he could ever imagine. You see, the original idea was Ripper Blackheart and Bad Attitude Brian Beach were attempting to awaken my client Amos. And they continued to push and prod and do every underhanded tactic they possibly could to push my client to a point of being awoken. The only problem was they pushed a wee bit too hard, to a point where not only was Amos pushed to the point of being awoken, but they pushed him all the way into the darkness. And you see, that's where I come in.
Yes.
Because you see, Amos is an individual that many just simply have had a hard time understanding. They just simply don't understand Amos. But I do. I understand him all too well. I understand him to the point where I know the inner dialogue, the chatter, the noise that he hears every day, the confusion that he deals with. And through all of that, I pierce through that veil with truth, with direction, with a path to follow the prophecy. Because you see, Amos is indeed the prophet of pain. Mm-hmm. And the prophecy that has been foretold involves the ultimate demise of William Wolf, of Bad Attitude Brian Beach, and of Ripper Blackheart. Brian Beach is already gone. He's been eliminated. He no longer is an active member of the roster of FGW. Because as much as he wanted to push Amos over the edge, as much as he wanted the best of Amos, he got much more than he could ever handle, to the point where physically, Brian Beach is no longer able to compete. And as a competitor, I will take nothing away from Brian Beach. He was a hellacious in-ring competitor. He brought a level of intensity that, quite frankly, has been unmatched until now, until the age of Amos has taken over FGW. The next individual that'll be eradicated from Future Great Wrestling will, of course, be that meddling William Wolf. And that just leaves you, Ripper Blackheart. Because you see, as much as you like to joke and have fun with calling me Photo Hut Dave, with you being someone that prides yourself on being a bit of a wrestling historian, you think that you would be fully aware that some of the greatest minds in professional wrestling history started off as photographers for the distinct reason and purpose to learn the craft, to scout talent, to figure out the inner workings of professional wrestling. Names such as Jim Cornette or Paul Heyman. So Ripper Blackheart, the dark days of FGW are upon us. And much like Kiss is on their farewell tour right now, and I know you love the band Kiss. You, Ripper, are on your farewell tour with not only Future Great Wrestling, but the entire professional wrestling industry, period. And the individual that will finally end your miserable existence in pro wrestling, well, of course, is yours truly, David Barnabas Spector.
Wow,
Please continue, Everett Lee.
That's a lot right there. That pretty much sums it up right there. So that pretty much answers all my questions right there with Future Great Wrestling there. And I just wanna ask, Future Great Wrestling is every Friday?
It is every Friday night at 190 North Brookwood Avenue in Hamilton, Ohio, inside of the Elite Performance and Wellness Center, the FGW Arena, the arena that Darkness Worldwide owns. We own that organization. We own that building. We run that place. And I would be amiss if I did not mention, before we move on to other topics, Everett Lee, that within the confines of Future Great Wrestling also resides a very popular female star known as Shauna Reed. Shauna Reed being well known in the independent wrestling scene, a member of the 5 Most Wanted. Shauna Reed is somebody that David Barnabas Spector knows all too well. She knows who I am, and she knows exactly what I'm capable of. But what she seems to be a bit ignorant of is exactly what my client, Harley Fairfax, is capable of. You see, I'm sure in a few moments, Everett Lee, we will talk about KZW, and the correct KZW Bombshells champion is none other than Harley Fairfax. That is where I became associated with Miss Fairfax, is at KZW. However, we don't just reside in the state of Kentucky. Now, Harley Fairfax joins me at Future Great Wrestling. And Harley Fairfax is my personal weapon of destruction. She is indeed the Black Widow of Darkness Worldwide, a legitimate fighting machine with a true martial arts background. And Shauna Reed wants to take the threat of Harley Fairfax as some type of a joke. You see, Shauna, I see right through you. I see through this fake facade of you pretending that you're not concerned. You're not concerned about Darkness Worldwide. You're not concerned about Harley Fairfax. You're not concerned about me? Oh, no, honey. I think you know all too well what I'm capable of. And you're just now beginning to understand exactly what Harley Fairfax is capable of. So as time goes on, you can include the eradication of Shauna Reed to the list of victims moving forward in our pursuit of total domination of Future Great Wrestling. But rather than take my word for it, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that if you are anywhere near the Cincinnati, Hamilton, Ohio area, make it a point to join us this and every Friday night for Friday Night Fury. The doors open at 6:30. Get there early. Get yourself a great seat. Sit down. I know the reason why you would buy a ticket is to see the absolute top talent of Darkness Worldwide, and you'll also be treated to the So-So Rans, the mid-carders of Future Great Wrestling. Again, Everett, please continue.
I like it. I like it. If I lived in an area, I definitely would check out Future Great Wrestling because it's a great promotion and just great talent, and as yourself and Darkness Worldwide. Now, I want to ask about, before I move on to ask about KZW, I want to ask about Battle on the Border presents Armageddon. What can you tell me about that right there with Wolves and his cousin Hooks inside the cage at Battle on the Border presents Armageddon? Can you tell me about that?
So that particular event, I personally will not be involved in. I actually will be in West Virginia for an organization called PIWA that evening with my premier tag team, the Tribunal, consisting of the King of the Jungle, Jace Thorne, and the Walking Apocalypse Paragon. However, Battle on the Border Wrestling is an organization out of Harrison, Indiana /Ohio. Darkness Worldwide, yours truly, David Barnabas Spector, will be debuting for Battle on the Border on October 26th in a huge FGW /Battle on the Border mega show. However, when it comes to their event on September 21st, William Wolf is stepping into a cage with Hooks. And even though Hooks is not currently signed to Darkness Worldwide, I am certainly keeping a close eye on what's unfolding. Hooks knows the invitation is there. I respect the fact that he wants to walk alone. And in FGW, a number of individuals, from Ricky Glam to David J. to the aforementioned Ripper Blackheart, have all tried to woo the services of Hooks. And rightfully so. He's a top-tier talent. He's an absolute brutal wrecking machine. He's a fighter. He's certainly not afraid of blood. And I'm sure that Hooks will extract a huge level of revenge against the underhanded tactics of one William Wolf. And I can only delight in the type of punishment that he'll deliver to one William Wolf. And speaking of Hooks, Hooks did me such a tremendous favor this past Friday night at Friday Night Fury for FGW when he clocked Ripper Blackheart to the point of cracking his jaw to where he currently is unable to talk.
Wow.
Doing myself and all of the fans in FGW a huge service by eliminating the massive noise pollution that comes from his rotten, disgusting mouth. So Hooks, again, the door is open to you, my friend. And I certainly look forward to seeing the type of vengeance you extract, that you deliver to one William Wolf at Battle on the Border on September 21st.
Sounds great. Sounds great. I love it. I love it. And I've had Demi Blevins on before on my podcast before, talking about Battle on the Border Pro Wrestling, and another great promotion there. You're spreading out pretty much, man. And now I want to mention about KZW, Kentucky Zone Wrestling. When I saw the promos, when I first started seeing the promos, I said, wait a minute. Isn't that David Barnabas Spector from Future Great Wrestling? What's he doing in KZW? And then there at first, I wasn't too unsure. But now, after times went on, I'm pretty much aware. But what can you tell me about what drew you in besides Harley Fairfax from KCW? I've had her on the show before, and I was shocked that she joined Darkness Worldwide. I was shocked. I think a lot of fans were shocked there at KCW that she turned, as what the fans have been saying, and people, she turned her back on KCW to join Darkness Worldwide. But what is another purpose, and just your purpose in general, for KZW, Kentucky Zone Wrestling? Can you shed some light on that?
Well, you see, Everett Lee, the whole situation simply boils down to the fact that with my history of working within the entertainment industry, specifically working within the music industry, I became familiar with, of course, J.J. McGuire.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. McGuire, responsible alongside his longtime best friend, Jimmy Hart, for producing some of pro wrestling's most memorable theme songs.
Yes.
I mean, J.J. McGuire has had a hand in creating iconic ring entrance music for superstars like Shawn Michaels, the Legion of Doom, Demolition, Bret Hart, Dusty Rhodes, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I mean, he's even helped to create music for the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
You know, the man is a legend within the professional wrestling industry and well known within the music industry. And you see the powers that be with Darkness Worldwide contacted J.J. McGuire in reference to expanding within the world of professional wrestling, because we felt that we had someone that we could trust that could help us maneuver our way into the wrestling industry. But here's the situation. Along the way, yours truly, David Barnabas Spector, had a few run-ins with JJ's best friend, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart,
Right.
at Bobby Fulton's World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling, as well as at Heroes and Legends Professional Wrestling in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Right.
And because of the underhanded, despicable tactics of one Jimmy Hart, for whatever reason, every time that I would be prepared to debut for Kentucky's Own Wrestling, there would always be an issue. There would always be a delay. There would always be red tape. There would always be a problem month after month after month. And then I finally understood and realized what was going on. And what was going on was this, Everett Lee.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. McGuire, a man that Darkness Worldwide entrusted with helping us to transition into the world of professional wrestling, was creating roadblocks for my debut with Kentucky's Own Wrestling because of his best friend, Jimmy Hart.
Wow.
And you see, I came there with good intentions, Everett Lee. I came there to make that organization better. I came there to enhance talent there, to make Kentucky's Own Wrestling be a promotion that was more Otis, that would get the credit that they deserved.
Mm-hmm.
But when I found out the ulterior motives, the agenda of one J.J. McGuire, my entire mood and my agenda completely changed. Because it changed from a matter of wanting to work with KZW, wanting to elevate them, to now just simply wanting to completely dominate them and take them over, to replace them with Darkness Worldwide. And this has been an ongoing situation now for several months, Everett Lee, to now where we build to next month, September 14th, in Somerset, Kentucky, for Caged Fury 12, where we have finally built to a point where it will be Team Darkness, led, of course, by the mastermind you're speaking with right now, David Barnabas Spector, versus the ragamuffin, haphazardly thrown together team called Team JJ. And you see, the last show in Somerset, Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
J.J. McGuire dropped a bit of a big deal, a situation, a surprise for his team, somebody that I was not anticipating.
Right.
And that's none other than the wild-eyed Southern boy, Tracy Smothers. And quite frankly, anyone that knows professional wrestling is fully aware of the legendary Tracy Smothers.
Yes.
From WCW to Smoky Mountain Wrestling to the WWE and even ECW, Tracy Smothers has been there, done that. You know, he is a bona fide legend.
He is.
I would not be forthright if I said, Everett Lee, that I wasn't a bit concerned about Tracy Smothers. But you see, here's the situation. I always have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And come September 14th at Cage Fury 12, I have a plan. Because you see, I have on Team Darkness the very dangerous Eric Porter. I have the former KZW heavyweight champion, Matty B. I have a gentleman that nobody thought would join forces with Darkness Worldwide, and that's none other than the unpredictable Dark Suede. And I also have my top talent in future great wrestling, Amos. And you never know who else is going to join us. As we disassemble, dismember, and completely eradicate Team JJ, consisting of Tracy, the very outspoken Johnny Bad, who, by the way, Johnny, the door is still open for you, my friend. The invitation is still there. They've also got Larry McCoy. They've got the KZW heavyweight champion, Big Frank, who my protege and client Chase Thorne has an issue with. And, of course, the very heart and soul of KZW, Tomahawk. and all of those individuals will soon pay the ultimate price for crossing yours truly, because darkness will fall on each and every one of their sorry careers.
That's a lot right there. That is definitely a lot right there. Now, going to take a quick break and give a shout out to the sponsors of Podcast City Network.
The following support and sponsor Podcast City Network. City Limits Tap Room, sports bar in DeLand, Florida, has brew on tap, serve food, the grilled cheese is excellent. For upcoming events, check out City Limits Tap Room on Facebook.com/City Limits Tap Room. Morph Tee, a comfortable and lightweight 100% polyester t-shirt with illustrated morph characters that, when worn, will make the illustrations seem to come to life. For more of Tony Rodriguez's work, you can see his full line of apparel at teespring.com. Sports Sanity Customs have worked with organizations from custom embroidering polo shirts to jerseys for your kids' baseball team. They do it all. Armed with state-of-the-art equipment and an in-house design team, they are equipped to take on your next project. Visit their website to learn more, sportsanitycustoms.com. Visit Sports Sanity Customs on Facebook.com/SportsSanityCustoms. 3-Count Design offers a wide range of graphic design products, video, photography and other forms of media. Everything from t-shirt designs to websites. Visit Facebook.com/3Count Design for more. Demo Blast Studios, an explosion of imagination. Original artwork, podcasts, video, apparel and more. Visit DemoBlastStudios.com. Visit Demoblast Studios on Facebook.com/Demoblast Studios, the best family entertainment pro wrestling show in the state of Kentucky. Kentucky's Own Wrestling brings quality family vintage wrestling to a town near you. Kentucky's Own Wrestling offers a ladies division in wrestling and a training school. Kentucky's Own Wrestling is the current longest running Southern promotion. Visit Facebook.com/Somerset Kentucky's Own Wrestling. All supporters and sponsors are brought to you by Podcast City Network.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
Apparently, I was going to try to get Mr. McGuire on the phone tonight to have anything he wanted to say with you right here on the show, but under circumstances, he wasn't able to come on. He was not able to come on tonight.
He wasn't able to come on. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? You see, Everett Lee, the simple situation is, again, I have all the respect in the world for J.J. McGuire and what he's done for pro wrestling as well as the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's got a book coming out next month, co-written with John Cosper. I mean, and I'm sure it'll be a great read. But, here's modern day J.J. McGuire. He's scared. He sees his spot being threatened. He sees this new talent, David Barnabas Spector, coming along, and he wants to avoid me at all costs. He's afraid for his future in pro wrestling. He's afraid for his future in the music industry. He knows that if he came on here, onto your program this evening, Everett Lee,
Mm-hmm.
that I would verbally, intellectually tear him to shreds. In the same way that Team Darkness will completely tear apart Team JJ at Cage Fury 12 on September 14th in Somerset, Kentucky.
Wow. I mean, looking at the poster, looking at both teams, looking at Darkness Worldwide, Team Darkness going up against Team JJ. Talent, great talent on both sides right there. And if I was in the area, I definitely would be there on Saturday, September 14th for Cage Fury 12. And among that right there, looking at the poster, you got Harley Fairfax going up against... damn, the print is too small. Help me out here, Mr. Spector. Help me out.
So my talent, the most dominant woman in both FGW and KZW, is the current KZW Bombshells champion, Harley Fairfax. And inside of a steel cage, she will defend the Bombshells championship against her longtime friend, Michelle Myers. And earlier you were talking about how everyone was shocked. The KZW fans, the KZW roster was shocked that Harley Fairfax would turn her back on all of them to join forces with Darkness Worldwide. Well, here's the simple reality, Everett Lee.
Okay.
For the last year plus, Harley Fairfax has been taken for granted. She has been misused, mishandled, mistreated by the management of KZW, where she should have been the absolute headliner, the main event on every single show. She was relegated to working in matches with far lesser degrees of talent, working mid-card matches, opening of the card matches, but rarely, if ever, in the main event that she truly deserves. And one of the reasons for that is because her longtime friend, Michelle Myers, was holding her down and holding her back. Well, all of that's going to come to a head on September 14th at Cage Fury 12 because, you see, Michelle Myers, you finally will taste the full brunt. You will finally feel the full repercussions of your actions. You know, they say karma is a word that starts with a B, and you're going to find out that the B is back. And the B has got you inside of a steel cage in Somerset, Kentucky for the Bombshells Championship. The title at this point is irrelevant because obviously Harley Fairfax is walking in the champion, and she most certainly is walking out.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing of note here is that recently Michelle Myers has had a little friend come out to the ring with her on a regular occasion, and that is this new individual named Saphira. And you see, Saphira stuck her nose in a tag match that happened last month in Somerset.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, from the short amount of time and interactions I have had with Saphira, I am already sick of her meddling. So Saphira, just a word of advice. Stay clear of that loser, Michelle Myers, unless you want to get hurt right alongside Michelle inside of that steel cage on September 14th.
Wow. And I want to throw this out there. I want to throw this out here since we're talking about KCW, Kentucky's Own Wrestling. I had on my Facebook Live I did with Mr. Wrestling, Jeremy Rage. We did a Q&A, and I mentioned about Darkness Worldwide, and it seems like he wasn't too keen on Darkness Worldwide, and I got that feeling from some of the talent there from KCW is not too keen on you guys, man. And Jeremy Rage had some words for Darkness Worldwide. If you go back and look at it on the Podcasting Network Facebook page right there on the video section, you'll hear what Mr. Rage has to say. But all I can say is him and B.W. Anderson are not too keen on you guys.
You know, are you surprised, though, Everett Lee? I mean, you know, the professional wrestling industry is filled with individuals, petty individuals, jealous individuals.
Right. You
know, these individuals, of course, they're not going to be too keen on the idea of Darkness Worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the reality is that they all want to be members of Darkness Worldwide. They all want to reap the benefits. They all want to be on the road with Darkness Worldwide, traveling from state to state to state. I mean, look, at this point, we dominate Ohio, we dominate Indiana, we dominate Kentucky. This Saturday night, August 31st, Darkness Worldwide invades West Virginia for the first time for PIWA with my team, the Tribunal, Jace Thorne and Paragon. In October, Harley Fairfax and yours truly, David Barnabas Spector, traveled to Clarksville, Tennessee to begin our takeover of that state with Darkness Worldwide for CWF, Clarksville Wrestling Federation. So why would these individuals be keen on the idea of Darkness Worldwide? In reality, Everett Lee, they're all jealous. Well, they all can't stand the fact that we're taking over their precious organization. We're taking their spots. We're taking their championships.
Right.
We're taking their money, and we're taking it all across the country and soon enough all around the world. So in regards to Jeremy Rage, I personally have no issue with Mr. Rage yet. But knowing that apparently he has a problem with Darkness Worldwide, perhaps I need to rethink that situation.
Well, he mentioned
Worldwide, it's not.
He mentioned. I'm sorry to jump in. He mentioned before you say anything here. He did mention you guys did give him an invite, but he's better off on doing things his own instead of with a group.
Oh, hold on. Just one moment there, Everett Lee. At no point in time has Darkness Worldwide offered any invitation to Jeremy Rage.
You didn't?
Not one.
No?
Not one.
No? He is a great talent. I do gotta say this about the man. He's been in the business for a great time. And I mean, for a very long time. He's a veteran of the business. And I mean, why would you not want to have someone like that in Darkness Worldwide? If he did consider, I'm just saying that.
I don't mean to cut you off, Everett Lee, but I will say this. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Mr. Rage's professional wrestling abilities inside of that squared circle. But Everett Lee, he is telling you bold-faced lies. Because you see, not once, not one time, not on one occasion has Darkness Worldwide approached him to make any kind of an offer for him to join our organization.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we would not extend an invite to him, the answer is obvious. If an individual is that petty and that desperate to make up fabrications and lies about us extending any type of an offer to him, why would we ever want to do business with an individual like that? You see, I do business, Everett Lee, based upon my intelligence and my overall gut reaction to individuals, because you see, my gut reaction to individuals, to situations and circumstances is never wrong. Never. And my gut reaction to Mr. Rage was good in the ring, but not quite good enough to join the elite of Darkness Worldwide.
Okay, that answers my question right there. That definitely does. Now,
however, if Mr. Rage would like to prove me wrong at any point in time, I'm watching. You have become a center and focus of my attention now, Mr. Rage. So please prove me wrong. Continue, Everett Lee.
Okay. Now, the Tag Team Championships is going to be defended at Cage Fury 12. Now, you get your eyes set on... Of course, you get your eyes set on the KCW Heavyweight Championship. And what about the tag team? You guys got your eyes set on that as well?
Before I speak about the Tag Team Championship, I want to address the KZW Heavyweight Championship situation. You see, Big Frank, who is the current champion, personally, I have nothing against Big Frank. Up until this point, my interactions with him have been nothing but business. They have been nothing but he has just simply been an individual that has been in the wrong place at the wrong time, much like my interactions with Mr. Johnny Bad. And Johnny knows where I stand with him. And Johnny knows that the invitation is there. There is a spot in Darkness Worldwide for a general. And that spot has Johnny Bad's name written all over it. It's just a matter of him accepting the offer. But in regards to Big Frank, the current KZW Heavyweight Champion, the only issue that I have with him is the fact that for quite some time, he has been ducking and dodging the challenge of my client, the King of the Jungle, Jace Thorne.
Mm-hmm.
Jace Thorne is by far the most natural athlete that KZW has ever seen. He's got movie star good looks. He is an absolute stud of an athlete. If you were going to put somebody on an event poster as your champion, Jace Thorne is your guy. But you see now for months, Jace Thorne has been denied his opportunity at the KZW heavyweight title. So at this point, Jace Thorne is protesting. He will not appear on another KZW event, and that includes Cage Fury. And in some ways, I'm not happy about the fact that he won't be a part of Team Darkness, but I understand and I respect his decision, because Jace Thorne has made the decision that he is going to boycott KZW until he gets exactly what he wants. And that is a title match with Big Frank. And rest assured, Everett Lee, when that match takes place, and again, to take nothing away from Big Frank, the KZW faithful love Big Frank.
Yes.
Somehow, some way, he has not only won the title, he has won the hearts of the fans. He has retained the title in dominant fashion
Right.
up until this point.
He has
Been a dominant champion because he has been ducking the challenge of Jace Thorne, because he knows Jace is just simply too much of a real athlete for him to be able to handle. Jace is too intelligent for him and his hillbilly antics to overcome. So rest assured, in the very near future, when J.J. McGuire quits playing games, when KZW management finally decides that, hey, maybe we should have this absolute stud athlete Jace Thorne on our show posters, we'll have that title match. And spoiler alert, folks, the winner and new KZW heavyweight champion, the king of the jungle, Jace Thorne. Now, in regards to the tag team situation,
yes.
I'm keeping an eye on the tag team title situation. I have a number of tag teams that I represent. The Tribunal with Jace Thorne and Paragon is certainly one, and we're certainly not opposed to Jace Thorne being a multiple champion, as both the heavyweight champion and potentially the tag team champion. I also represent a tag team called the Unholy Alliance.
Okay.
That is none other than Michael Brody and Wade Castle. Those two individuals are dark, menacing, athletic, agile, and brutal. I represent them in LSC, Legends of the Squared Circle, and they would be more than happy to make a trip to Somerset, Kentucky. And rest assured, there is not a team currently residing in KZW that would fare even the most remote chance against either the Tribunal or the Unholy Alliance. Bottom line.
I'll go with that. Definitely. Wow. Darkness is spreading. I just got to say that. Darkness is spreading, and it looks like you pretty much got everything lined up on what you want to do, where you want to go, and who you want in Darkness Worldwide. And pretty much...
The reality is, Everett Lee, that we are only just getting started. We are only just beginning the expansion. The expansion will see us devour state after state, organization after organization. The roster for Darkness Worldwide continues to expand and grow. We have individuals in multiple states for multiple promotions. You know, in addition to everyone, the aforementioned individuals that I just mentioned, I also represent the Iron Russian #1 in World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling, ran by the Fantastic's very own Bobby Fulton, another dominant individual. Amos, Harley Fairfax, Dark Swade, the Wrestling Theology Fellowship Tag Team Champions, the Tribunal, the Unholy Alliance. The list goes on and on and on. And it's only going to continue to grow. My dominance, Darkness Worldwide's dominance over the professional wrestling industry will only continue to expand. And the doubters, the naysayers, the people who are jealous, the people that don't want to see us succeed will all fall to the wayside as we continue to steamroll over the competition and anyone that dares to stand in our path. Everett, please continue.
Wow. I pretty much don't really have anything else to add or say, but your dominance, it reminds me of, I will make this comment about Darkness Worldwide. It does remind me, the takeover, the spreading of territories. It reminds me of a modern day NWO. What if the NWO could went global? I mean, bigger than what it was. You know what I mean? Like, if it went into, left WCW and actually NWO went into other promotions, I think it would have been Darkness Worldwide, honestly.
You see, the mistakes that other factions and organizations have made over the decades, I have been able to learn from.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I have said and I have studied now for decades the history of professional wrestling, the pitfalls, what individuals did correctly, what they did incorrectly, where their folly ended up falling. So I've studied the masterminds of professional wrestling. I've studied the Gary Harts. I've studied the Bobby Heenans. I've studied the Paul Ellerings, the Jake Roberts, the Kevin Sullivans, the Ravens. I've studied them all and then some. I've seen where individuals have fallen to the wayside, where they've made their mistake, where they've slipped on the proverbial banana peel, if you will. You see, the NWO was a dominant faction, but it made mistakes, and it let greed and ego take over. You see, we have no ego in Darkness Worldwide. We all share a common goal and vision. That is to extract revenge on a society that has made us suffer, to take the opportunities that were not afforded to us, to discontinue accepting table scraps from the powers that be, and take the entire plate for ourselves, to take it all in the name of Darkness Worldwide.
I'm speechless right now. I am speechless, dude. Man, you remind me of the audiobooks of Shakespeare, reading it live. I'm sorry. You sound fantastic. I love everything that you've brought to the table onto this platform I gave you tonight. And I do want to thank you for coming on here, taking time out, and opening my eyes up to more of what David Barnabas Spector is in Darkness Worldwide. But before we do wrap things up, you have any last words, anything you want to mention about Cage Fury 12, anything to JJ Maguire, or just anything in general?
So a few quick points, Everett Lee, and I appreciate the compliment, the Shakespearean compliments. You know, my use of vocabulary, my use of intelligent vernacular is a bit more advanced than the atypical insectoid wrestling fan can understand, but I appreciate you giving me the platform and the opportunity to speak, to show my ability to be able to articulate in a highly intelligent manner, to fully explain and describe my point, my agenda, and the virtues of Darkness Worldwide. When it comes to JJ Maguire and KZW, JJ, you know full well that I warned you. I gave you every opportunity to discontinue your actions, to make amends for the mistakes that you have made, to simply walk away. And you have decided to be confrontational, to constantly interject yourself into Darkness Worldwide affairs. On September 14th, inside a steel cage, your team will be completely eradicated. And if you don't watch yourself, JJ, you will suffer the same exact fate. Now, the other topic I would like to touch upon very briefly, Everett Lee, is the fact that you've heard the talk here on the Everett Lee Show, but to see it firsthand, come to an event. See the domination of Darkness Worldwide in person. Every Friday night in Hamilton, Ohio, Future Great Wrestling. The only exception to that would be on Friday, September 20th, my birthday. Come help me celebrate. My Disciples of Darkness, as we travel to Indianapolis, Indiana for Wrestling Theology Fellowship's next huge event, as my team, the Tribunal, Jace Thorne and Paragon, defend the WTF Tag Team titles against, we have no idea, because we have ran through the competition like a knife through butter, and I have set an open challenge to anyone who wants to step up to Darkness Worldwide. I give the gift of absolute destruction, chaos, and mayhem in the form of the Tribunal on September 20th, because whoever steps up to challenge my tag team champions will be absolutely annihilated. Also, again, Saturday, September 14th, KZW Cage Fury 12. And on Saturday, September 28th, World's Finest Wrestling returns, where my client, the Walking Apocalypse Paragon, faces the current Heritage Champion, Damian Cole, the King of the Arcade. And anyone that follows me knows that I absolutely hate video games, and I can't stand Damian Cole. And we absolutely destroyed him at World's Finest Wrestling's last event, to the point where we had to have reconstructive surgery on his knee. And he's got the audacity to challenge Paragon to a fight, a championship match on September 28th, a match that was supposed to see that chump Phil Early involved in a triple threat. But guess what? He's out for an injury too. Why? Because he dared to challenge the Walking Apocalypse Paragon. On that same card, the King of the Jungle, the next KZW Heavyweight Champion, Jace Thorne, faces Angelo Gallardo. Angelo, I don't even know who you are, but I know who you're going to be on September 28th, the next victim for the King of the Jungle, Jace Thorne. That's at 2138 North Park Road in Connersville, Indiana. World's Finest Wrestling, September 28th. You want to know where all the events are? There's a whole lot more coming up through the rest of this year. Visit Darkness Worldwide on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook, David Barnabas Spector. Check us out on Instagram at Darkness Worldwide Brand. Everett Lee, what else do you have to say, my friend?
Well, I do want to thank you for coming on tonight, and I do want to mention, before we do wrap this podcast up, I do want to mention that you can check out more podcast and more content like the Everett Lee Show over on podcastcity.net. You can follow Podcast City Network over on Facebook, Podcast City Network. Give a like and a follow on notifications for posts on Podcast City Network on Facebook, and send them a tweet over on Twitter at Podcast City Net. Subscribe to Podcast City Network YouTube channel for video podcasts such as this, The Everett Lee Show, Final Score, the Deleted Wrestling Podcast, Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, and much, much more right there on Podcast City Network on YouTube. And over on Podcast City Network Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Podcast City Network. Give them a follow as well. And be sure to follow more Everett Lee.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
For more of The Everett Lee Show on social media, follow and like The Everett Lee Show on Facebook, The Everett Lee Show, Twitter, at The Everett_Lee, Instagram, Everett Lee Show. Audio versions of this podcast and previously released podcast can be found on everettleeshow.podbean.com. Stitcher Radio, The Everett Lee Show, give a rating and comment. Apple Podcast, The Everett Lee Show, give a rating and comment. YouTube, The Everett Lee Show, subscribe to the channel. The Everett Lee Show, your shot of entertainment to the head.
That is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everyone tuning in tonight and listening to this podcast. And be sure to pray for me and hope the best after this weekend with that damn hurricane coming. Not the wrestler, but that damn storm. So, Everett Lee signing off, and I want to wish everyone a good night, and we'll see you again next time on another episode of the Everett Lee Show.